Hello, my friends. Today, the situation remains catastrophic in all major directions. Meanwhile, Ukraine continues to strike Russia with ATACMS missiles, and the Russian Minister of Defense stated that Ukraine used 6 ATACMS missiles and 4 Storm Shadow missiles to target the Kupiansk industrial plant in Kamensk-Shakhtinsky Rostov region. They claimed that all ATACMS missiles and 3 Storm Shadow missiles were intercepted, but one missile hit the facility, causing damage, and they promised retaliation. But as you already know, yesterday Putin suggested testing NATO's air defense systems by striking Kyiv with the Oreshnik missile. After the direct line event, Putin reiterated that they are ready to launch a strike right now to test NATO countries' air defenses.
Western media were impressed. Are we ready for this duel right now?
We're ready, right now, even today.
Why Kiev?
It can be somewhere else, as far as I'm concerned. But in Kyiv, based on what I know, Western countries have already established quite a serious air defense system. Let them activate everything they have, including missile defense systems and those anti-missile interceptors on standby in Romania and Poland. There are 24 of them in each location.
I remember when you challenged Biden to a televised duel, but he didn't show up.
Well, I didn't say I was challenging anyone. I said that Western experts who doubt the effectiveness of the Oreshnik should propose this duel to those paying their salaries in Western countries. We agree, right now.
Overall, following another round of strikes on Russia using Western weapons, this could actually happen. Meanwhile, Zelensky responded to Putin's claim that Russia is ready for negotiations and that Ukraine allegedly accepted the Agreement.
As to the Istanbul agreements, that never actually existed. There was an ultimatum of Russian Federation in the first day in 2022.
Similarly, Zelensky wrote on the X platform that Putin is a fool, a direct response to Putin's statement about being ready to experiment with the Oreshnik missile on Kyiv. It seems Zelensky is truly feeling the immense pressure of the current situation, which indeed remains extremely difficult. Meanwhile, Blinken stated that a ceasefire could only occur under the conditions set by Washington and Kyiv.
Now, at this point, getting to a ceasefire, I think, would be a good thing, if it can be done on terms that respect those fundamentals. And if it has within it the necessary arrangements, the necessary assurances, the necessary commitments, so that further Russian aggression can be deterred. Because any ceasefire, in the back of Putin's mind, it will be rest, refit, and reattack at the right moment.
However, as we know, Putin insists on the opposite, demanding a ceasefire solely on their terms. Therefore, most likely, if Trump cannot push both sides to the negotiation table, the war will continue. This scenario would clearly not favor Ukraine, as reclaiming territories by military means is beyond our capabilities. Zelensky himself has stated this openly. Consequently, it would only lead to further territorial losses. Friends, be sure to share your thoughts on this situation in the comments. Now let's move on to the front lines, starting with the Pokrovsk direction. Here the Russians continue to storm Novosilka, trying to advance further toward the Dnipropetrovsk region, which lies just over 8 kilometers away. From there, they plan to move toward Udachne and naturally seize the mine, whose loss would pose major problems for Ukraine and significantly weaken it. Advancing here is also crucial for creating a semi-encirclement of Pokrovsk, which explains their focus on this direction. In addition, the battles for Novoolenivka are ongoing, while assaults continue on Zelene, Dachinske, Lysivka, the village of Prominy, and Myrolubivka. The situation remains catastrophic, but there were no notable changes over the past 24 hours. In the Kurakhove direction, the Russians persist in the assaults on Konstantinopolske, the outskirts of Kurakhove, Dachne, and the village of Rozliv as they attempt to reach the highway. The situation here is extremely dire. The Russians are gradually advancing and achieving their objectives. Stopping them has so far proven unsuccessful, and the Ukrainian armed forces report that several more settlements have fallen under the Russian control in the past day. Zelenivka has fallen under the control of the pigs. The Russians raised the imperial rank and are freely operating there. The next primary targets will be Constantinople and Ulakli. They will attempt to encircle Ulakli from the southeast and the west, thereby spreading their forces to brigades over two settlements. Next, they will aim to reach Andriivka and cut westward toward Oleksiivka. Additionally, the Russians have seized Konstantinopolske, where their flag is now raised, and they are advancing further toward Gigant. As we can see, the situation is extremely grim. We await updates on the map. In the Velyka Novosilka direction, the situation continues to deteriorate. The Russians are advancing toward encircling the city, with direct assaults also ongoing. Battles persist in the area of Blagodatne, but there have been no noticeable changes over the past 24 hours. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the Russians have reduced their activity once again, with attacks currently limited to Novoandriivka. Otherwise, there have been no significant developments. In the Kherson direction, the Russians continue to attack Kherson with FPV drones, but no new offensive actions have been recorded and the front line remains unchanged. Now moving to the Toretsk direction, the Russians are maintaining their activity and continue advancing. Battles are ongoing for Sherbinivka and they are pushing forward in Toretsk while attempting to break through to Delivka. Although no new gains have been reported over the past 24 hours, the situation remains extremely difficult. In the Chasiv Yar direction, the Russians continue assaults within the city while battles persist near Grigorivka and they attempt to advance toward Bilahora. The situation remains tense here, but no new advancements have been reported over the past 24 hours. In the Siversk direction, the Russians are currently conducting attacks only near Verkhnyokamyansk, with no other new offensives recorded. The front line remains unchanged for the past day. In the Liman direction, battles are ongoing for Terny and Yampolivka, but activity here remains relatively low with only a few assaults per day. As evident, the Russians haven't achieved any success, so the front line remains unchanged. In the Borova direction, fighting continues for Lozova, where Russian forces have been unable to advance for quite some time. Further south, the Russians are being destroyed in the fields near the village of Kopanki, while they attempt to break through toward Novosergeyevka and assault Grekivka. But over the past day, there have been no changes here either. In the Kupiansk direction, the Russians continue to assault Petropavlivka, but they haven't achieved any success and there have been no changes along the front line over the past day. In the Kharkiv direction, the Russians continue shelling, but no new attacks have been recorded. However, battles in Vovchansk remain ongoing, with the Ukrainian forces successfully repelling all assaults, keeping their front line unchanged. In the Kursk direction, there are currently no changes along the front line, though the Russians shelter the Sumy region. Meanwhile, Putin stated that he wouldn't name a date for the liberation of the Kursk region, but claimed to be confident it would happen.
Absolutely certain. It can't be any other way. But as for a specific date, sorry, I just can't do that now. There are plans. Plans are regularly reported to me. But just saying by this date, that's not how it works. The guys are listening to me. If I name a date, they'll push forward at all costs, without considering the losses. We can't allow that. A day or two won't make a big difference in this case, but they'll definitely drive them out. Afterward, we'll assess the damage.
It's ironic considering Russia's disregard for losses as it stands. At the same time, Zelensky once again commented on the situation regarding mobilization in Ukraine starting at 18 years old, stressing that weapons are needed, not mobilization. Tell me, please, if a person stands before you without a weapon, does it matter if they are 20 or 30 years old? There is no difference. Our partners focus on the physical abilities of soldiers. We focus on the fact that we have brigades without weapons. I simply don't want to repeat this. We have strong brigades, we have various brigades, and we also have brigades that are not equipped, most importantly, with weapons. And that's all from me. Oh, by the way, I also want to share some good news with you. Today, I defended my thesis and can now officially call myself a master's graduate. So, congratulations. And that's all from me. So, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.